Hey out there, this is the morning of April 11th, 2015, here in Northern California. A little picture of these wildflowers growing on the side of the cliff. It's kind of a cloudy day here in Northern California, which is nothing unusual. The problem these days is knowing whether or not the clouds are natural or artificial. I don't have any problem with natural clouds, but I sure have a problem with artificial clouds. Hey out there, before I begin today talking about a variety of different things as usual, I wanted to finish talking about these artificially induced clouds, which anybody that's done even a modicum of research understands it's real. There's still people I meet that are in denial, very intelligent people, well-meaning people, but for some reason it's just too hard for them to face the reality. I mean, I can remember in kindergarten, I'm almost 57 next month, and so it goes back a long time, and learning about cloud seeding. So, the science is many, many decades old. This idea of artificially inducing, changing, altering the weather modification, geoengineering, it's all part and parcel of the same project. But I find it unnerving, to be quite honest. There's so much in life that we all have to contend with, but when I see Mother Nature has given us a beautiful clear blue sky, and then I see these jumbo jets going back and forth in making parallel tracks or sometimes grid fashion, and X marks the spot, all sorts of strange configurations, and these trails are not contrails. A contrail dissipates within a matter of seconds typically, depending on the amount of moisture in the air. But these jets are traveling very fast. I mean, average probably about 500-600 miles an hour. So, the trail, just like a car on a cold day leaves a trail, it's the condensation from the exhaust pipe, because there's some moisture that gets trapped in the gas tank and it's mixed with the gas. So a little bit of moisture comes out on a cold day, and you can see it as it condenses coming out your tailpipe. It's the same thing with a jet plane. That's all they're supposed to be, and it's supposed to dissipate and be perfectly clear, just like a cloud that evaporates, like the steam from your car that evaporates. It goes away. It's there no more. But these things linger and spread, as we know, and creates an artificial cloud cover. And I'm sure most people have heard this term, SAD, referring to a condition where you've got an area that's got a lot of cloudy days, let's say. So the condition of SAD, which means seasonal affective disorder, is more prevalent in areas where you've got more overcast days. And basically it's kind of a condition that it's a downer, it makes you feel, well, maybe sad, maybe a little depressed, a little down. And, you would prefer that the sun was shining, let's put it that way. It's a kind of an instinct we have that we like the sunshine. We know that there's health benefits to be gained, and it feels good to have the warmth of the sun shining on us. So the sun has a positive effect on us, and the clouds kind of have typically what could be called a negative effect, which of course the negative effect is lessened if they're natural clouds, but artificial clouds, I think, are, they're insufferable for the most part for me. But, I got to suck it up like everybody else, and, what can you do? Of course, I'm trying to start this chemtrail sky patrol project. I haven't gotten any funding for it. I'm not sure this GoFundMe operation has really let my site be available to the public to donate. But at any rate, there is some things that could be done, and to try to demand some accountability, some oversight, and nothing is being done. I mean, our government, whoever that is is utterly useless at this point in terms of, letting the public know what this program's all about, and somebody being responsible. If they want to play God, they ought to have the liability insurance to cover any negative health effects, or if they should inadvertently create a storm, a damaging storm. So there's a lot of things that the public isn't being told that they deserve. They have a right. They're entitled to know. But I call this condition artificially induced seasonal affective disorder, which I think is very appropriate. And I'm not cool with it, and I need to speak out about it. And the only peace I get is knowing that ultimately there is this good God, an almighty creator God that is in control of everything. Of course, for whatever reasons, God lets a lot of things happen. He lets a lot of wicked people have their way, for the most part, in this world. And these are the people, basically, those are the people that rule over us. And the chemtrailing is just emblematic. It's indicative of the way these people operate, the way they roll. They're sinister and they're clandestine, and they don't like exposure. They don't like you're rubble. They don't want you to know what's going on. And we got Earth Day coming up here next weekend, I think it starts, something like that. And I guess that's all around the world. And I know a lot of these people are well-meaning. They like the idea of, preserving the earth and taking care of the earth. So that's a positive thing, I see. We're supposed to do that. Even the Bible would tell us, to be good stewards of the earth, and goes on to say, well, those that destroy the earth, the Lord will destroy them. So yes, you want to take care of the earth. You want to be an environmentalist. But we have to take that with a grain of salt, because we also know there's eco-fascism. And there is an element of radical environmentalists that, under the pretense of saving the earth, will put out notions of overpopulation, and that what we need is population control. We've got to, they'll say change the numbers of the population, which means reduce the population. Like the earth, they say, has already reached its carrying capacity, and we've got to decrease the population in order to save the earth. So these come off like the good guys. And it's easy for people to be pulled into their mindset if they're not aware of what's really going on in the overall agenda. And if they are aware of the overall agenda, then God help their miserable souls, because the agenda is genocide on an unimaginable level. That's it. In a nutshell, an unimaginable 6 to 7 billion people they would like to get rid of. And I know the earth is just over 7 billion now. I don't know the exact figures. Probably nobody knows the exact figures, because people are being born and dying right and left. So there's no precise figure at any given moment. Only God would know that precise figure. But the point is that we have to be aware and be on our toes against these fascists, these people they're hypocrites. And that's enough for me to really be a real turnoff, is that these people want to live by a double standard. They want to espouse one thing to the commoners, to the masses, who they have little regard for, who they think of as below them, beneath them. These are the useless eaters, useless feeders, who we really don't need anymore. We've got machinery that could take the place of most of the workers today. So, let's do the earth a favor. We're the good guys, and get rid of them. And so a lot of people, they'll say, yeah, you know what, that's really right and true, so I'm going to be on these guys' side. I like what they say. But they don't realize that they're going to be among those that are off, basically, in whatever method these people use. And of course, they're using a plethora of different methods to get rid of us. I mean, we could start with the food. They're trying to get our lifespan back down, because as everybody knows, if you look at the statistics, lifespans have been steadily growing due to breakthroughs in understandings of nutrition, and of course refrigeration is something that's brought longer lifespans. So there's been some things that have helped us live longer lives, which could be seen as progress, but not to these people. So they're trying to get our lifespan back down. I mean, they've been dumping fluoride in municipal water supplies with bags of poison, these with skull and crossbones designations that this is not fit for anybody. This is a poison, so don't consume it. But yet they find it fit to dump this in our water supply, and just say, suck it up. It's good for our teeth, right, to consume this stuff, ingest it, and digest it and assimilate it. And this is supposedly going to help our teeth. Well, these people are insane. They're psychotics, and they're trying to make us all that way too. And we have to understand how that affects us when we know what's going on here. And look at the food supply. I mean, there should be no other type of food available besides organic food, yet, you know, it's a weird philosophy of the organic stuff. This is superior, this is better, this is, you know, made without pesticides, and it's no herbicides, no artificial growth hormones, it's non-GMO and all this stuff. But no, it's, you know, it's a special deal when you got organics, and the regular stuff for regular people is this artificially produced stuff with the toxins, you know, laden with toxins. So, you know, the insects won't eat these GMO foods, but yet they'll feed it to us, and that's okay. And the livestock, of course, always prefers the food without GMOs if they can. And, you know, there's no oversight here again. So you see how this is indicative of the way the system operates. And these companies that produce the GMOs, like Monsanto, they don't want any oversight. In fact, they spend large sums of money to deceive the public, to prevent us even knowing what's in the food, to prevent, you know, labeling this has genetically modified organisms in it. And so we're up against a ruthless gaggle of merciless thugs. They're mean. They're very mean people. And they control us every which way from Sunday, okay? Another way that I find glaringly obvious is the way that they control us through monetary policy, through artificial scarcity, intentional austerity. You know, they put nations and states and individuals in debt, and they walk around with the loot, of course, that they've stolen. You know, wealth of a nation does not just disappear, but it does in fact get stolen, and these people have stolen our wealth to an indeterminate generation. There's no end in sight if we allow this to stand, if we don't do what Iceland did and start jailing these people, because they are criminals and they're really out in the open with their criminality. They've taken any semblance, you know, of any regulation out of the financial industry. This happened. Most people don't know this. This is why I talk about Bill Clinton as one of the if not the greatest betrayer in American history, because of what he did to the regular man by allowing this Glass-Steagall Act to expire. Most people don't understand. I don't understand all the nuances of this Glass-Steagall Act that was enforced for nearly 100 years. But I know this much. It was an act that was a regulation, and it helped keep these banking wolves at bay to some degree. But after they lifted that, right toward the end of his presidency, which was a great gift to these ruthless, wolf-like banking class, and it allowed them to really go whole hog, Wild West on our ass. It pulled out all the stops on them and just allowed them to dump all this currency on the market. And that's all you really need to do to indebt a nation, is just, you know, what they do is they play on people's natural tendencies. We naturally tend to love money because we see money as a means to security. We see money as a means to freedom. Everybody's heard the term financial freedom and financial security. These are very important things to us, very important to all of us. I mean, we all, you know, we see it as the roof over our head. We see it as the food in our belly. We see it as the water we drink. We see it as the gasoline we put in our car. We see it as everything. We see it as our Savior, as our God. It's a very necessary element to our lives to have this thing we call